Intermediate Bootcamp, and we are on step 5, which is creating a barometer of your own site. And it's a lot like our competitive analysis, except we're going to do it for our own site. And earlier today, I asked people on Facebook to give me some sites they wanted me to do, and I got 4 quick responses, and I did do those, and we're going to look at that in a little bit. But first, I'm going to go through the steps with you, and so you can see the steps in the PowerPoint, and then my plan is for us to go live, actually go into POE, go into the tools, and do that so you can see exactly how I'm doing it, and create your own barometer.
Okay, but before you start, I just want to say something. If nobody's been in Facebook recently, or you haven't logged in today, Dory released her coupon, and everything that she talked about and all of the pre-stuff was how BOE members who want to come to hang with us at the end of September, beginning of October, that free day. So want to be sure that those of you who are going to do it. And she put that up just for POE members. So I just wanted to hit that, Dory, because I don't want to lose track of that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and that I put that out to POE members prior to putting it out to my whole list, because we only take 100 people in the conference. But the POE day, the pre-day that we're doing on, that's free. You guys get to come, and it doesn't matter if you come to SEO Rockstars or not.
Do you know how many? Do you know how many besides you and I that have taught are going to be there?
There's already 30 people.
No. I mean, out of the experts.
Oh no, I only know that Lisa's not because of the dog
okay.
show.
Okay.
So anyway, we should probably cut all that out.
Okay.
One, what's coming up today? Introducing you back to the 7 steps. We've been keeping on those seven steps. We're going to go into step 5, creating that baseline, and why we do this, what you need to do to know how to do it, and what tools you need to use to do it. So out of the 7 steps, we've already covered 1, 2, 3, and 4. Today, again, is creating that baseline. So step 5, creating your baseline. Why is it really necessary? You know, and a lot of these steps people don't do, but I like to do it. You know, it takes maybe an hour to do. In fact, I did 4 sites in the last 4 hours. Creating a baseline is much like studying your competition, but it's about your own site. And it's important because you want to know where you are before, you know, so you can make a plan to where you're going. Your success or not your success. You know, if you go down, you can go, okay, well, I was doing a lot better 3 months ago. What happened? And things like that. So we're going to go over a bunch of stuff that's going to let you measure that. Let me just get this down. So we will do many of the same steps we did in the last step of, you know, looking at our competition. But there's more to it here, too, because I get a little bit more granular, get a little bit more detail in looking at my own sites. So the first thing I want to do, and I want you to do, is check your canonical. And I hope I pronounced that right. Your site's canonical, which means, this is from Google, and I know for you newbies you're going to go, what the hell did she just say? And this is from Google. It's a good idea to pick one of those URLs as your preferred canonical destination and use a 301 redirect, and we've talked about redirects, 301 redirects, it's just a redirect, to send traffic from the other URL to your preferred URL. A server-side 301 redirect is the best way to ensure that users and search engines are directed to the correct page. Now, what does this mean in easy terms? It means people, or even you, when you're linking to your site, you're either going to use the www in front of your domain name or you're not. And see, that's gotten a lot of sites in trouble because sometimes people link to both, or you may be even linking to both. And I have a good example of one of the 4 sites that were given to me today of that happening. So they have a lot of power, but it's on both sides, you know, with the www and without the www. And so if they did a redirect, a 301 redirect of all, you know, all the wwws to maybe the one that doesn't have the www or vice versa, it'd give more power to their site. So I think when I go into, so I have some graphs here that are actually pictures. You'll be able to see what I mean and how we look for that. So what we did is find out, well, I just talked about this. We find out and concentrate on the one that has more power. So to do this, we go to POE's tool, Domain Audit. And that is right here in the Tools section, and this is Domain Audit, the first thing we do. So I want you to enter your site in here. And these are the sites that came up. These are the sites that people gave me today. They were 4. I stopped at 4. And here you can see, then this is the results that Domain Audit gave us back. And Hawaii Elements, this is with the WW, without the WW. This site was created in 2013. There's not even any backlinks coming into it, so there's not much going on. So of course there's not much difference. But look at Earth. Earth Angel Oils, I think.
Angel Oils. Earth Angel Oils.
Earth Angel Oils. They have both of these. Okay, so I searched for the WW one, and then the one that doesn't have the WW. 3 W's, WWW. In any case, you can see that each have backlinks coming into them. Each have really good trust flow, although the one with the WWW in it has more trust flow, so that would be the one I would work on and get all my stats about. Although the citation's pretty high on that, that means there's probably a lot of backlinks coming into it that are not as, I don't know, it's interesting because this has a trust flow of 19, but only a citation of 22. So even though there's more backlinks, I would assume that the trust flow would have been higher. So that's kind of a weird, interesting thing. And do you have any input on that? Why that would happen?
What my guess is that when they actually built some citations, this is a guess, or like maybe from Facebook or LinkedIn or Pinterest or...
Yeah, but you think about citations as something like, you think of a citation as just the URL without the link, and that's not what Majestic is talking about with citation flow, actually, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's the amount of links.
Yeah, I think that it's based on what they consider that the source that's sending it.
Yeah, it has to do with that. In any case, we want
it's for citation flow.
Unless you're doing local SEO, we like our citation to be lower than our trust flow. Or like this one, it looks pretty good. It's only 22 and that's 19. That's very close. Although I like the trust flow higher here, so even though it's 39, I'd probably still work on that one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it says here that the citation flow is a number predicting how influential a URL might be based on how many sites link to it.
That's trust flow.
Now that's what they're saying. I'm reading what the citation flow is. That's their definition of it.
Of what? What is the definition? This is from Majestic, right? Because I have studied these guys inside and out.
Trust flow divided by. I'm looking for. I just had it, and of course it went away.
Seemed like you were defining trust flow. Anyway, so let's go on down here because I don't want to go off on a pig trail. We're talking about the canonical and which version you want to choose to pull up your data, either the one that has the WW or the one that doesn't have the WW. Here's another great example. Zombie Game HQ. These without the WW, they have a trust flow of 16. They don't have any trust flow with the WW. So of course I did the research on the one that didn't have it. And so if they did a 301 redirect, all these sites would help benefit them. Same with this last one down here. They have links coming into them with both of that information, but the one is higher. So that's why you want. So it's the canonical. You want to be able. You want to use one, and if you choose which one you want, and so we go into Domain Audit, find out which one is better right now, and then do a 301 redirect, from the other one. So that's your first thing that you want to do to boost your site. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so we may have questions on that a little bit. That gave me the URL to check. So these are the URLs that I checked today, and these are the ones that people gave me. So from here, I know how to do our domain, site research. So these are the domains that I have. There was only one that the www outperformed the ones that didn't have the www in front of them, and so that's how I went forward with this. So second, I do an HTML validator. So it is, you want to know, is your page site healthy just to be crawled? I mean, you want to make sure that your site is healthy enough to be crawled by Google. And this is my favorite. I was going to put that into. I will put that into the chat box. This is my favorite one, and we can go do a little demo on that as well. Let me send this out to everybody. I think we do the chat thing here, and we'll put that URL right in there. Although I did upload the presentation, so you can get that. And let's go take a look at that. I know I have it right here, and let's just put one of these sites in there. Let's do this one. And I just chose that arbitrarily, put it in here, and you can see what kind of results it's going to bring up. And it's really great. And some of the stuff is so technical. If you're not technical, you just give it to the person who's doing your programming or doing your website. So here, we have errors here, and so these are the type of errors that it shows up. And this is kind of stuff that you want to look at to just help Google crawl your site better. Now, there's other validation services. There's other places where you can get site audits. So in any case, I'm saying get a site audit. This is just one that happens to be free, and it's pretty good, and I know. So back to the presentation. Let's go. Okay. So for the rest, I used a template, and I uploaded that template in the handouts. And so this is where I kind of keep score. I keep track of everything, and so I can come down, in a couple of months and redo my baseline and see how well I'm doing, see what's missing. Even if I have staff, this is something I could give my staff to say, hey, we want to work on this, that, and the other thing. And so I have uploaded that, so you can download that template. And the first thing I do is, I go get a score, and that's, there's a lot of free graders out there, and it doesn't really matter which one you use as long as you use it as a barometer, and then you always use that one. I used to love SpiderMate, but they're no longer up, which is unfortunate because I really love them. So my next favorite is Matt Callan's SEO IQ. I love this tool, but it's not free, but he did give me a special link to give to you guys, and so I don't get any commission off it. You get my half of that. So it's half price, so it's $47.
Yeah, just so you know, Dory, I use two things. One tool is Brad's that I use, and the cool thing about Brad's is it kind of like rides on your browser. So whenever you're searching a site, all you have to do is click on it, and it just immediately will go and get that information. It's pretty cool. And then
is that not SEO IQ? Because that's what SEO IQ does. It's the brain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's one of the ones that I use. I love it.
Yeah, that's Matt Callan's.
Yeah, and did I say Matt Callan?
No, you said Brad Callan.
Sorry, it is Matt Callan, yeah. I forget that they're brothers, and I just get them done. And then sometimes I use Raven tools. But, yeah, I love his tool. It's awesome.
Let's see if this one, I got my, thought maybe I could give a quick demo of it. And I don't know my login info. Anyway, it gives you a lot of the same information that link density does. It'll give you information that they can get for free on Majestic, and link density goes in a little bit more. We give you a full depth of range of stuff, and that's why it takes a little bit longer for it to come up sometimes. So I like. Back into this general info score. So yeah, so any of these kind of will score your site. Other graders that are free, website.grader.com. That's by HubSpot, and freegrader.com. And I guess we can go and look at that. I was going to do this at the end, but this was kind of cool. I like this one. It doesn't matter which one you use, as long as you use the same one all the time, and then you know if your grade has gotten better or not. And this one, they're going to take my email. So let's do one of those sites again. Let's just take Zombie and put it in there, and I'll put my email in there. This is a really cool interface. I like this interface. I don't know why I haven't done a site grader. I just haven't. So this site got a really good grade, 84. So that means, it looks like the site is a responsive site, which is really, really important right now to have a responsive site, which means it's mobile friendly. The performance looks pretty good. The SEO is okay, and the security is good. So it goes down here, and then you can even, keep track of this kind of stuff. But page size looks pretty good. They like it to be less than 3 megs. Page speed's good. Render blocking, I actually don't know what that is, but you got all this other stuff. You got he's got a 30 out of 30 on the mobile, so it is responsive. So that's awesome. What's it say on the SEO side? No sitemap. So this is just giving you really kind of basic stuff, and so it's pretty cool, and you can do a quick check. But I like the grader system, and Matt's has a grader system too. So once I get used to a grader system, and when I'm doing my competitive analysis too, and I didn't go over this last time, it's really easy just to quickly go grade them instead of putting them to do detail work into like link density. But we're going to do that as well anyway. But I just wanted to go through some graders because that's something I really like to do, especially when I'm doing my own stuff. So the next thing I do, let's go back into the presentation. I get my generate info. I look and see how many pages are indexed in Google. So to do that, I do my site : and then my domain name, and that's going to tell me how many pages my site has indexed. Because of course, you don't have to have a huge site, but it's nice to know if you started out with 10 sites and you've been working really hard to get your content going, that okay, now you have 32 pages indexed, so that's something to keep track of. I want to know what the age of my site is, and so that's also information you can get from the domain audit tool. If you didn't know, we can go back to that section. Let's see here, and I'll show you where the age is. Let's see here, slide 10 maybe. Created right here. So a lot of this information you can pull right out of domain audit. We also have our SEO Moz stuff over here, and this is stuff that I don't typically look at because it's not my barometer, but I know it's a lot of other people's barometers, so we include it in our tool here. And so that's another thing. So let's go back to our general info. So age, POE. Then Google Analysis. Now, even though I didn't have any of that information from the sites that I did today, it's always great to have, some sort of analytics on your pages, and you want to know what these 3 things are. Your pages viewed, speed of site, and your bounce rate. Very, very important. All these things are really important, so you want to keep track of those. So, Ann, this is a little more on-site optimization, too, which has never been, my huge area of expertise. Do you have anything else that they would look at in Google Analytics to keep track of?
Well, I always like to see from an optimization, like how I'm going to build my funnels out, in Webmaster Tools and Analytics when they're linked, what is driving queries, meaning what people are searching for that my site is showing up for.
Yeah. That's awesome, and that actually correlates to what we're going to look at when we go into SEMrush and look at the keywords.
And just so everybody knows, Dory talks about bounce rate, and I want everybody to understand that means how long somebody is staying on your site. And it's a very powerful, powerful metric. And if you have a low bounce rate, you are so happy.
Yeah, so this would be a bad thing. Let's go to extra virgin olive oil. And so if I went here and I was like, oh, I'm looking for extra virgin olive oil. Oh, I don't know. This site doesn't look that great. It's not selling me anything. Boom, I bounced back. That was that was like, that, I mean, a lot of people would have to do that to make their bounce rate really small. But Google does, you don't want that to happen. And I don't know why my search query's not coming up again. But when that happens, Google figures that the people searching, didn't like what had on their site for that search query. So they will, so that's your bounce rate. The lower, no, it's actually, you want, Ann, what's the typical bounce rate that people are striving for?
If you've got 50% or under, you're like golden. If you've got 40%, oh my God. If you've got a bounce rate of 30%, I want your name and phone number. And if you've got anything under 30%, you need to really build that site out and prepare for an exit plan because it's worth money.
Yeah, I thought 35 was the bomb. Okay, let's go, where was I? Google Analytics. I'm not going to demo that, but it's an important part of gathering intelligence on yourself. Use pages, speed of site, bounce rate. Okay, so the next thing on our list is the stuff that we pull from Majestic. And this is actually, these 3 things you can get from Domain Audit, but you can't get the anchor text. And so I go in, and this is where we go into POE's link density, and we pull all this information. And so we keep track of how many backlinks, how many referring C blocks are coming from, the citation flow, the trust flow, and the anchor text. Actually, let's go off the screen. I think that's, yes. And let's go in and see some of that I just did today, and we can see some people's, what I got from them. And I thought I was signed in over here. I guess I'm not. So let's go into page one engine. I always use Julie's account. I don't know why. My account's the admin account. So, okay, let's go into tools. And I'm going to go into link density. And I'm going to look at some reports that I've already done. And let's see which one. Let's go look at the zombie games. It's the first one I found down here. You have done a lot of reports. So this is where you get that information. It's right in here. It's actually where you create your recipes as well when you want to follow somebody else. And I have things over here that are optimal, and that's where you kind of want to land. This site has a total active links of 82,000 links are coming into it, but it's only coming 64 C blocks. So Google's going to go, I don't know what's going on. I mean, you could get a ton of site-wide links, and that's why this is happening, but it's usually not a great sign, and that's why these, are so low down here. Now, you could find a site that would be ranking for whatever with stuff like this, but so these are just general guidelines in link density that you can follow.
And what just so that everybody remembers, what Dory's meaning by C blocks is it's like she's wanting you to understand where your links are coming from, so that when you decide how to buy a site or how to build a site or where to get links from, that you're in control of that, so that they're not all coming from the same sites to you.
For different C blocks last week. If we have questions about that at the end, I can go over that again. But it's just narrowing it down a little bit further. Of course, you want to look at referring domains, which here is 73, and referring IPs is 69, but really it's these referring C blocks that are important. But then again, look I have all these, most of his links, it looks like, are images. So,
hey, Dory, they're saying they're having a hard time seeing. Can you make your screen full screen? That they're having a hard time seeing it, how it's coming across.
How's that?
It's still pretty small, like the square. the actual size. Can you hit the green button and
Yeah,
make
I
it?
already be not seeing what
It's like on the right side we see the outline, and on the left side we still see your PowerPoint. So it's like in the middle of your screen that we're seeing the Page One engine.
Yeah, it's not like that on my screen, so
Okay.
it may have to catch up.
Oh, there it is.
Yay!
Thank you.
Was bad, but still, you know, he's only got 64, coming from 64 blocks, and I know, you know, the gaming industry is a lot more competitive than that. So, you know, I just know that that's not going to do it for him. In any case, let's go look at somebody else's. Where I got this information, I can go down. Hawaii Elements is new, even though it's got a great score on its scorecard that I'm going to show you in a second. It's new, so it doesn't have anything coming into it. What was the other ones that we were doing? Earth. Oh, here we go. Earth Angels. Let's look at them. And by the way, this site was created in 1999. That is like freaking unheard of. So good job on that. SEMrush does show some history, but and we'll go into that in a little bit later. But still, you know, this is actually a pretty good ratio. You know, this has 60 C blocks and only 354 links coming into it, and that's a little bit up there. The type, you know, the trust flow is 26, so that's really great. So anyway, this is where you can pull all that information. Like I said, some of this is also you can get a domain on it. Oh, but what I didn't look at the other site was the anchor metrics, which I was going to go into, and which is on the spreadsheet as well. And I love this site's anchor metrics. I mean, you can see here that they can. I hope everybody can see it. That most of the links coming into the site.
It hasn't come through. We're about 40 seconds behind you.
40? Ooh, that's bad.
Well, we're still looking at link ratio. So as you're talking, which you talk fast, we're still looking at link ratio, but you're talking about anchor metrics.
Okay.
There we go. It just came up, bud.
Okay, yay. Okay, so what I really like about this site is that you can see that most of the links that are coming into it are either URL or they are their brand. And what I mean by the brand is that it's like Earth Angels Oil banner, Earth Angels Essential Oils. So they're getting their keyword in there, but they still have Earth Angel in there. So I really like that. And then a high percentage of others, which is at 47%, which is really great. I think there's another site that I looked at that had like an 80-something% of others, which Google really likes now. Google really likes a lot of variety in your keywords. And what 47% means that there's 47% that is probably 1% or less of that whole profile. So that it's like one link, maybe two links. And we could export this and actually see what it is. Actually, why don't we just go ahead and do that? I will export it, and it's there. So we can links. They are now. Hopefully, you'll be able to see an Excel spreadsheet on my screen in a second. I am going to enlarge that to 200%.
I'll tell you when we see it. There it is.
Okay. Boom. So, so this is, you know, in column A is all the different anchor text that this coming into the site, where there's only, you know, a couple links, and then it goes even further down. When I scroll down, there's only one link in it, and you know that's really natural. That's really natural for Google to see all kinds of different stuff. What's unnatural is when you get a keyword, SEO keywords like, you know, essential oils, essential oils. Like if this site had had 20% essential oils and 20% of something else, then that wouldn't have been good. Or 10%, 10%, 10% of all these money keywords. In any case, I like to base map right here. So this is one of the things that we look at, and I can pull up my not my Excel. Yes, I will come back to that in a second. Let's go back to the presentation. Tell me when you see that.
We see the anchor metrics. There it is. We've got it.
Okay, Majestic. So from Majestic, and the backlinks referring C blocks and citation trust you can get from the domain on it, but you have to go to link density to get the anchor text and get more in-depth information. So Moz. Now, like I said, this is something that I don't specifically look at because it's not my barometer. It never has been. I just use Majestic so much that I just never look at it. But you'll have other people who will say they only use Moz, just like I only use Majestic. So this is an important thing, and we did include this in the domain audit tool. So here you can get the domain authority, page authority, Moz rank, and the spam. Now that's something new that they've added, and I don't know what that actually means and how they are looking at that. Dan, do you know?
No, I don't know specifically how Moz looks at it. I use that Moz often because I use it in Raven tools, but like Dory said many times, the page authority and the domain authority, people look at that differently than they're going to look at site flow and trust flow. And these two companies, Majestic and Moz, their initials are the same, but their verbiage is different. And I would suggest you look at them to see what tool is the best fit for you. Like Dory said, she uses Majestic. It's like the back of her hand. She knows this. I'm a little more friendly with Moz. So I just wanted to kind of throw that in.
And link density, I mean, we pull in all the Majestic information, so somebody wouldn't have to go out and buy an account there. So we already have that. We're pulling that in, so they don't have to get an account there. And just a little bit with Moz as well. We do have some more Moz stuff coming in with the compare feature, but anyway, I use Majestic. So are you ranking? So the next thing to do is, are you ranking? Keywords are you ranking for? Are you ranking for your specific keywords? So this is where you would use POE's keyword rank reporting tool. And what you do there is just throw in your keywords that you want to rank for, are hoping to rank for, and see where you land. Now this tool is only going to give you a number if it's in the top 100. So if it's further than 100, it's just going to say no data, and that's what that means when you get something that says no data. It's just, it can't find it. And I think we're going to change that verbiage because it's confusing. So we're going to say, not found in the first top 100. So anyway, one thing you want to look for, though, are you ranking for your own URL? Now, one of these sites that I just looked at was not ranking for their own URL, which is a little interesting, and that typically means that you have a penalty on your site. So you want to go in and make sure that you're ranking for your own URL. So let's look at that. We're going to go look in Google, and I'm going to end the show. I'm going to show you right now.
Yeah, and I just want to say, when we did our test site, our site was indexed by the URL, but it took us to get on page 1 for a URL a little bit of time, but it eventually happened. So I want to say a lot of that too is going to depend upon the age of how you rank for your URL, because I don't know what the age of these sites are. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah, some of these are, you're right. This one I think, I must have closed my...
It was so cool, Dory. It was like in slow motion. It looked like the Excel thing as it was going down to the bottom. It looked like the Matrix. It was like...
Baseline. Okay. I believe it was our zombie site that does not rank for its own URL. So let's go in here and as you can see, I put that in, and actually, it is ranking when I do that. What I did today was look at that. And it was not ranking for, you know what, it's like it's not ranking for its brand. And usually a site should rank for its brand, although I think this brand is something, here he is way down here. This is probably a game. I don't know much about the gaming industry. I got hooked on a game in a long time ago, and I swore off video games, and so I do SEO in my video game because it has money attached to it. So okay, so this is probably a play on somebody else's software. You know, maybe it's a review. I'm not really sure, but he's not ranking for his own brand. And that's a little bit that's troublesome. So you want to be ranking for your own brand, but he is ranking. Let's see here. What do you mean zombie games? At least he is ranking when I put in the .com, so that's a good thing. And when I put in the .site, he does have a lot of pages indexed, 268. Can you see that, Ann? Is it?
It's just coming up.
Okay.
Just
so he does have 268 indexed. So this is the spreadsheet I'm using. I guess I haven't got to that point in my presentation where I actually show you the spreadsheet. I was going to go through all of this and then show you the spreadsheet, but I think it's probably making more sense of me giving you the demos while we're going through that. So each of these sites, these are the sites, 4 sites that I was given today, and these were the scores of the sites. So this is our zombie guy. This is our Find Yourself Healthy, and this was our Hawaii Elements and our Earth Oils. So Hawaii Elements had a score of 84, but it's a new site. It doesn't have any backlinks, so it's kind of a what it means is that it's built correctly, it's responsive, they're doing the right things. Our HQ guy's done the right things. He has a responsive site that's great, so that's why those scores are there. Pages indexed, you know, that's great. Hawaii Elements only has 11, but I'm sure that they're going to be writing more content. And these are the ages of the sites that I got from Domain Audit. Index pages, Yourself Healthy, 122. That's a nice size site, but your score is only 46 because, let's see here. You have a Facebook group, but you do not have a responsive site. That's bad right now. Google really wants responsive sites, and they even announced that they were going to start not showing sites that were not responsive, and responsive means that they are able to scale down to a tablet or a mobile device. Same with this one for our Earth Angels. You know, they don't have a responsive site, nor do they have a sitemap. Another thing, too, is they didn't have a Facebook page, you know, a social profile linking into it. Neither does Hawaii, but I'm sure, you know, this is a new site, so that she'll probably get onto that, or she or he, I don't know which one. Let's see here. But this is the one that was from 1999. Let's go to this site. It's, you know, it's actually, I can understand they have had a site for this long time. You know, it does look like it's from 1995, which it's so huge. I don't know if you'd want to, I don't know. Yeah, it probably needs to be responsive, but it has a lot of great interlinking going on. I really like that. And like the site. I mean, but it does look old. Like Ann says, my site looks like a 1985. This one looks pretty old too.
But you know, there's if you hold on a minute, there's a I'll look for it while we're talking. There's a way without having to change this that there can be a plug-in that you put on a site like this that gives it a mobile.
Yeah, but that's assuming that it's a WordPress site or a site or some sort of.
No. It's. I'll find it. I'll put it up as we're going. Keep talking.
Okay, so let's just go back to my Excel spreadsheet. So the Google Analytics, I didn't know anybody's, so I just said unknown. But you know, speed, page views, bounce rate, real important. So then the stuff that we get from Majestic, that we pulled from link density, I want to keep track of how many backlinks I have, where they're coming from, how many C blocks, what my citation and my trust flow. And here it is for all these sites that we did. And Hawaii didn't have any data that came up. Hawaii didn't have any data for the anchor text either. And for the anchor text for, let's see, who is D? Our zombie guy, okay, I thought it was beautiful, the anchor text, he had 80% of other. And even in the top 10, there were zeros. So that means that he's got a lot of links that are just ones and twosies. And also, the green was, I highlighted this in green, this was their URLs, that were coming in. They were like URL links. And then these were all brand brand anchor text links. So the linking, as I can see it, looks great. The linking anchor text, although it's not ranking for anything because when I went to SEMrush, which is our site ranking tool. Let's go into POE again, and I'm going to go into our site ranking tool. And let's put his site in here again. We can see that there's no data that comes up, which I don't know if that is because the site doesn't have any history or if it's a SEMrush thing right now. Because I actually went to SEMrush, and I'm going to show you in a second, where I looked up MMA Gospel, which is a site that I picked on a couple of years ago because they were ranking for Garcinia Cambogia, and it was done beautifully. Okay, so yeah, this is a fake. This is example.com. This is what they show when there's no history coming in. It says, sorry, we haven't found any information. Now I don't know if that is correct or not, and unfortunate. That's really unfortunate for tonight. Because here's a site, I hope you can see it. This is MMA Gospel. I'm actually going to SEMrush, and this is where we pull that information from, so you get the same information. The historical chart, that's what I wanted to see in here. I had to go back to November to even get any data on this, so when I show it as, the live data of August, I'm going to click on that. It doesn't give me any data. It says, sorry, we haven't had any data. And I know that this site has a ton of history to it. It used to generate, it was a site that generated like $100,000 a month, and it had if this person had to pay for the traffic, it would have been like $37,000 a month. So for SEMrush not to give me this unless I specify something like that, there's something wrong, because it used to do that. So unfortunately, here we go. Here was as it was going on this time, not in its peak. The traffic would have cost $13,000. They were ranking for 460 keywords. So our zombie guy might be, he might have that kind of history that I can't really see. And why I want to see this, and why I've always gone to SEMrush and why we've always pulled it, is because I want to see where it drops. Unfortunately, this right here from September to October 2014, we can see it went from 13,000 to 4,000. I don't know if people can see that, but I want to know when it drops, so then I can go to Moz's history, and they have a history of all the algorithms that happened. And see, this happened in a 1-month period, and I can go in and then I can check. Here we go here. Let's see, this is 2014, September to October. So we're looking for something 2014. 2014, I'm going to click on 2014, and then we're going to scroll down to September and see what happened. So what happened in September, and it could have happened in August as well. Authorship removed was happening in August. But in September of that month, Panda 4.1 came out, and it says Google announced a significant Panda update, which included an algorithmic component. They estimated the impact at 3 to 5% of queries affected, given the slow rollout of the exact timing was unclear. And then they have links of articles that you can go on. And this was a lot of affiliate marketing, that looks like, just from looking at this. it says affiliate marketing, keyword stuffing, security warnings, and deception prevalent. Well, I know for a fact that MMA Gospel was an affiliate site because I had reviewed it. I had torn it apart, and in some of the videos that you'll see in that I put up when I do a lot of competitive analysis, and they were a total affiliate site. So Google wants to get everybody from point A to point B. And sometimes you have, if you're going to do something quick, because MMA Gospel actually had nothing to do with Garcinia Cambogia. It was a bot domain. They did a brilliant job of SEOing it. They probably made hundreds of thousands of dollars in the time that they were active, before they got caught, I guess, where this algorithm happened, which is sometimes the nature of SEO. And it was, but the payoff was huge for them. So that was, so what I'm showing you this is for two reasons. One is that SEMrush is not pulling up the historical data like I expected them or how they used to do, and that's why it's not coming up in our historical data here. So I don't know if Zombie had, something like that happen to them. And two, I wanted to show when you see these kind of drops, you can go back to this site here and look and see what happened. Okay, what is Google looking at? So when you're an active and you're actively doing your site, you can go, oh, Google did something on, a lot of their Panda stuff was like on-page content type of things, no duplicate content. So you can go through and change your site, and then when it rolls out again, you can, so sites do sometimes bounce back unless you've had a manual penalty put on your site, and that doesn't happen all that often unless you're doing something really black hatish, like we'll learn about later. Not here, though. So in any case, let's go back to my spreadsheet and text and going into link density and the mods and the SEMrush stuff here. So that's what we just looked at. So I looked at all four of these sites in SEMrush, and there was only one that had a history, and that was our Earth Angels. And so let's go into POE and actually look at that history. Let's do that. Because they're ranking right now, SEMrush is showing the history for some reason. If they're not ranking for anything right now, they're not showing the history. And when I talk about ranking, SEMrush will give you they will give you all your low-hanging fruit, meaning they show you all the keywords that you're ranking in the top 20. So if you're ranking for any of the, the keywords that they search for in the top 20, they're going to show you. And that's what I call low-hanging fruit, So here are the keywords that this person, our site, our Earth Angel, is ranking for in the top 20, and it shows you the position here. So a lot of times, I don't know what Vitex oil is, but they're ranking 14, although there's only a search volume of 40, as per SEMrush. It may be different. Amber essential oil benefits, so the search volume isn't really huge, but this site could go, especially since it has so many keywords, this site could go after a lot of long tail keywords, and I'm not sure why it hasn't succeeded at that. This would be a great site for Josh Baskinski to look over. And we're actually going to do some webinars where he's going to do go into detail of what people can do to boost their sites up. I mean, more detail than I'm going into now, because this is just creating a Barometer workshop, presentation. But anyway, we can see the history of this site. It never really did, so since 2010, the top was, the traffic was 140 a month, and we can see how many keywords was ranking for in the history of that. So this is the history of the keywords. And you can see even at a high time it was only ranking for about 36 keywords, which is really odd for a site that has 1,800 pages indexed in Google. So that's interesting, and would this site needs to go in more detailed analysis to figure that out. But what we're doing is figuring out where we are, where we need to go. And there's something that happened here as well. You can see in mid-13, so we would look up and see what happened to try to correct that. But since this isn't in the thousands, this could just been something, I don't know, it's hard to pay attention to because there's something in this site that's not letting it get crawled enough for Google to really a lot of long tail keywords, which is probably their best bet to be getting a lot of traffic. So let's go back. Okay, we've done that. We've looked at the anchor text, and so now you know what our site ranking tool does, and what it pulls in from SEMrush, and that you can get your low-hanging fruit and also your history, and find out if you've had any penalties by looking at if there was any historical drop, and then looking at the algorithm history by going to the Moz history website. And I am going to put that URL in the chat box as well, and that would just be this one right here. So you can get that. It's really handy. I use that all the time when I'm doing analysis on sites. So let's go. I totally went off my slideshow. And then, social, Facebook's really important for any money site. You should have even a lot more stuff than Facebook, and two of our sites had it, two didn't. And then responsive is really important. Like I said, being able to be seen on a tablet or a mobile device. And then, a site map is a no-brainer. You got to have that. So with all of that, that is creating a barometer. And so I did that for these 4 sites. It's really easy to do. It doesn't take you much time, but it's going to let you know where you are, so with your competitive analysis, when you got this kind of information from your competitors, it's like now you know where to go. Now you can create a healthy plan. You have the recipe that you created last week, but now you have it for your site as well. So with that, I think I'm just going to quickly go through my slides to make sure that I didn't miss anything.
Hey, while you're doing that, can I hit just a couple of low-hanging fruit things? Hey, isn't that funny? I said that, and that's exactly what came up, low-hanging fruit.
Isn't that funny? Hey, you're on my frequency.
Yeah, but the Duda Mobile is it's a site, actually, Stephen Floyd had told me about it, and I'm just going to put that in the chat, along with how people can check if your site is Google friendly from a thing. And the Duda Mobile can make any site. Well, just go check it out, guys, if you want to do it. And it should go to everybody. If you guys can let me know if you got that. Great.
So it makes like an old HTML site, a mobile site, friendly mobile site.
It does. It gives you the ability to do that. It just copies the content. It'll take any site and do that. Yeah.
Awesome. And this is why we do things in a group. I love it. Okay, so we'll report on any keyword, historical report, look for possible penalties from sudden drops, and then look at the date, then go look up the reason why it did it, and that's that domain again here in the presentation. Let's look at a few I did today, which I already did, and let's go live, which I already did. So these are the ones that I did today, and I did put those in the chat box, the handout, so you can download that to get an idea what other people are. Now, they gave me these sites to do, so that was free game or fair game. And so I just showed you how to create a baseline. And now we can answer questions.
Okay, so I have kind of a list of them, Dory. I'm just going to kind of start with you, and I'll just roll them down to you, okay?
Yep, that sounds great.
I just first want to say, Lewis, I can't wait to see you either. Dory and I, he's bought his tickets and he's really excited, so we'll look forward to seeing you. And Linda, yes, you do have to register for the POE day. So
yeah, I'll give that out next week. We're going to have people put a deposit so to make sure that they're really serious, like just $100 to make. I did $1 last year, and then half the people that signed up for my pre-day didn't come. and it cost me a lot of money. So
yeah. Okay, September 30th is Drew's birthday, so early happy birthday, Drew. Okay.
Drew, we'll sing you happy birthday there. I'll get a cake.
Okay, Dory, this is kind of a long thing. DS is saying thank you, but he's got a question about talking about inventory and ranking the product in Amazon. Now, this is an Amazon question. Do you want me to ask it to you here?
No, we need to keep it specific to a barometer. But
okay, so DS, what I want to say to you is, if you don't mind, will you take that and please put exactly what you said into Facebook, and Dory or I will go and answer that. Okay. So, Andrew wants to know, why is trust flow considered more important than page and domain authority, in your opinion?
Oh, I don't think that it is more important. That's just my barometer. Other people will talk about page authority and domain authority, and it is important. That is important for people that look at that. It's just two sets of barometers. It's like, what's it like? Come on, Ann, help me out.
Well, for me, it's like this.
They're competitors to each other, and they give similar information, and so pick one tool and stick with it. I've picked Majestic. A lot of people have picked Moz.
Once you read about it, I think that you'll learn, and it's not that one is more important, just like Dory's saying, it's how are you going to look at how you're ranking, looking at things, so that when you get your baselines, you're looking at the information that makes most sense to you.
Yeah, because, you know, now we pull up Moz stuff, but because it's not a barometer to me, because I don't look at it very often, I don't know if a domain authority of 23 is great or not. I can tell you, because I look at trust flow so often, I can tell you that trust flow of anything over 20 is the bomb, anything over 30 is really good, and if you have anything over 40, oh my God. So that's just the difference. You'll have somebody else teaching something similar, and they may say, I don't know anything about Majestic, so I'm going to talk about Moz's, numbers, and they may say, okay, anything over a 10 is the bomb, whatever. So I'm just saying I don't use that, so I can't speak for it.
Okay, so let me hit you up with another thing. Ginny asked the question, listen, can I outsource errors my site might bring for them to fix this?
Absolutely. I couldn't even do it myself.
And Ginny, I want to tell you, you want to get somebody that you trust. So now that you're learning about these errors, if you find them, you want to ask people how they will fix them, so that when you give somebody access to this, you're going to understand a little bit, because how Dory showed you, you're going to be able to go and run reports to see if they're being fixed. Okay, Jared, thank you so much. He shared the spam rating is a rating on a scale of 1 to 17 that automatically determines how likely the site is to have spam. So thank you, Jared. Okay, question.
Yeah, but what is it that, likely to have spam? I've seen some really good sites that, like, last week I found a site and was ranking either for one of those olive oil keywords, and it had a spam score of 6, and I thought, well, that's interesting. I needed to look into that and see what Moz is really, saying, what qualifies spam. Is it incoming links? Is it based on internal links? Things like that. I got to go look at that, because that's something new, and I feel like I need to pay attention to that, because it's actually kind of a cool data thing.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's see here. Is there any difference between domain.com/keyword and domain.com/keyword/? The answer is yes.
Yes, the answer is yes, and if you have more to answer on that, because
see, to me, it would be more, instead of a keyword, it would have to be a page, because whenever you have a domain / anything, you're saying it. So the thing that's interesting about this, Patrick, is it would be keyword.php or keyword.html. And so when you put a forward slash after that, which sometimes WordPress does, it will tell you, it's like a way of giving an
like saying that there's a directory there.
Yeah, and then giving an extension list view.
But I don't know if that has anything, you know. Let's go see. Let's go to the source and see if Majestic is doing. If they have a splash. So I put Majestic in. It came up with the splash. So I know it has.
Go to doryfriend.com with a page after that.
So.
Oh, you have dub instead of www.
Yeah, I just caught that. That's me for you. So here we go. Let's see if it gives me something different with the slash out of op. No, it didn't. So, and there's definitely a subdirectory because this is a WordPress site. So especially for all you newbies out there, I wouldn't worry about it. If we go into Google and we look up olive oil, I mean, you can see sites that will have that after it. I don't see any here. Here we go. Nope. Here's one right here. You can see that slash on it.
Hold on a minute. You're a little behind.
But that's actually it's a really good question. I'm hoping we don't go over the heads of a lot of people that are new. See, here's Amador County, Amador olive oil, which came up for olive oil. I guess it's because it's pulling. I live in Amador County, but it has that slash right after it. So I'm going to go to Majestic and see if it gives me different. Different metrics with or without the slash. So, well, actually, I had trust flow. Boom! Wow.
Because what he's wanting to know, Patrick just chimed in.
Is that going to make a difference, right?
Yes, and he wants to know if he builds backlinks to both domain.com/keyword and domain.com/keyword/. Is he building to two different URLs?
No, and here you can see that that's they're getting the same metrics anyway. You're only linking. If you have a subdomain, then Google treats it as two different URLs. Although like two different sites, if that's what he's asking. Now, if he's asking if he should do that in his variety of linking, like URLs, like link with it and without it, absolutely yes. Because there's people would do that. The more variation that you have, the better. I hope I answered that.
I think you did pretty good.
Okay.
Kathy asked about where the spreadsheet came from.
And Kathy made it.
And if you can see, she made it and she put it in as a handout. And I want you to know that that's how Dory captures her data. That's how she does it. Greg, in his leasing sites, he gave how he does it, and he gets similar types of metrics, and he shows how he does it in his, and also gave a handout. So just so you know that. And Gary asked a question about one of the times when you were talking about the site that you were working on, how there wasn't any information, and he asked, could they have installed a robots blocker? Like, what would keep SEMrush from crawling their site?
Yes, absolutely. They could. I wouldn't. If you were a money site, I don't know if you would want to do that. But we actually put a spider blocker on all of our network sites, so our competition can't see where the links are coming from. But yes, that's very possible. You know, they could. They could be able to see it. That's interesting. Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay. If your site doesn't have a lot of traffic, does SEMrush collect data? And how much traffic do you need to have your site included in a service like SEMrush or
you don't need to have much traffic for it to show up. For the low-hanging fruit, you need to rank in the top 20 of some keyword. Now, that's probably not your domain name or your brand's name because it's not a popular keyword. But SEMrush has been pretty good about that. And so it'll even say, okay, like, you know, the site that I had profiled, the Earth Angels, not get, but they're still registered there. I mean, you know, they were getting like 160 clicks a month, ranking for only 36 keywords at their top, and they're only now, you know, what was 12 or something?
Yeah. Okay. How do you know if Google has indexed pages in your site? So, Dory, do you just want to do a quick site colon or show what operators are?
Yeah, so we've gone over this. This is, you know, how you do this is go site, colon, and then let me pull up one of those domains. Let's go to Earth Angels. They got a ton of them. So I just put Earth Angels with the www because we established that that had more authority. And they have 1,890 sites, 1,890 pages indexed. So you can see that right here. That's where you get the information. So a Google operator is different things that we can put in front of a keyword or a domain that's going to give us specific results. This one is the site colon, and that tells us, you know, the pages that are indexed in Google. And if you remember last week, I did the site colon, and then I put Amazon here. .Amazon, this was the tricky thing, you know, this was sneaky. Not many people didn't know this. And then when you can put a keyword in here, so for me it was gourmet olive oil, and you can see which one is, you know, ranking. So, or which one you have to beat. So that's the one that Google thinks is the best right now. Same with, let's do extra virgin. So California Ranch. Actually, I went over this one in the Amazon stuff. So this would be the one that we would do our competitive analysis on. So that's this right here, the site colon. It's just the Google operator, and I gave that out on one of the other camps that we did. I gave out a handout that was a PDF process map with all of Google's operators on it, so you can look up and research in all kinds of different ways.
Okay, so when it talks about 301 redirects, it says how do you actually do the 301 redirect from the non-dub-dub to the dub-dub-dub? I wanted to ask you a question about that too, because when I showed my, when I did the very first demo for everybody in the beginning on how to build a site, I talked about choosing the canonical in Webmaster Tools, and when you were talking just now, you talked about doing it from server side.
That's because Google has talked about it doing it from server side. So I'm not a Google Analytical pro, so you would know better than me on that if you can do it from Google Analytics.
You can do it from Webmaster Tools.
Webmaster Tools. Then do it in Webmaster Tools. I took this, you know, they said to do a server side, which may be for the people who don't have Webmaster Tools.
Yeah, okay. Hey, and just so you know, Andrew has family in Amador County.
Oh, wow, cool. Amador's awesome, man. It's the other wine county. We have the weather here is really great for red wines like Barberas and Zinfandel, stuff like that. We go wine tasting all the time.
And Andrew's saying it is better to do server side. I'm going to talk with my tech team about that because I don't think we've ever done that. I mean, for a basic site, I think we've always chosen which one to do, and I'm going to look at that.
It's easier to do it in Webmaster Tools, just like it's easier to do a 301 in, if you're forwarding a domain, but server side is probably going to assure you the better results, I would think, especially since Google's saying it right here.
Okay. I'm going to look at that. Because I think in Webmaster Tools it's just saying when you click on this, what is the preference that you want. So Dora, we've answered all of the questions.
Awesome.
And 712. If anybody's got anything, go ahead and put it up. Other than that, I think we've had a good session.
Yeah, I do too. And awesome. So that is everything on creating your barometer, so you know where to go. Next week we'll be on page optation. And see you guys on Facebook. Dory over and out, unless you have anything else to say, Ann.
I don't.
Okay, I'm going to click stop the presentation, and I'm going to stop the recording and get it up ASAP. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, bye.